Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Suyin and welcome back because I haven't posted in 2 weeks. I don't know if you have noticed, but it is now the year 2021, so Happy New Year everybody. Today's video is going to be about the prep work that I do before 2021 to get me started for a great year ahead, and this is what I like to do every single year. Well, actually that's a lie. I just incorporated this into this year because I realized in 2020, as I went through the year, I have forgotten to record some of these things, and I realized that because of that, my year didn't quite feel complete, at least in a documented sense. So these are the things that I want to do in this year so that I can make sure that I have a great 2021 ahead. And it's quite simple because I've really distilled it down to two things that I want to do, which is one, to do with tracking, and the second is to do with the spaces around me. So let's get into the video. Okay, so the first thing is I would love to track my books that I read in a year. So like last year, I read a whole bunch of books and I've learned from those bunch of books, but for the life of me, when I was doing my review of 2020, and this is kind of what I do every single year in order to set my goals for the year, I do a reflection, and I'll link that video up above. I did one last year and I was following the 20 or 21 questions by Jeevan Sahadevan, and I found that very useful. So if you haven't checked it out, do check it out. And yeah, there's this one particular question asking you what are the 3 best books that you read in 2020, and when I was trying to answer that, I was struggling. Like, I had my favorites and those came up very quickly, but there were some of the more, I guess, like the books I read at the beginning of the year or the middle of the year, and I kind of forgot what I read, and I never kept track of them in the sense of writing down the titles of the book and the author as well. So this year, what I want to do differently is that I have put a spread or a page on my bullet journal, and I am not very creative in my drawings and anything like that, but I like to do a very simple documentation of the things that I do and tracking habits and all of that. So I have a page specifically for the books that I am reading or the books that I will read in 2021. And right now the page is just one book. This book I am rereading is Robert Cialdini's book called Influence, and I think it will be a real gem to revisit. So I will share with you what it looks like. I track this not just on my bullet journal but also on Notion, which I've talked about in my Instagram stories before. I use Notion to track different things, and specifically my reading list. So I've categorized a couple of columns here, and specifically looking at what are the lessons that I'm taking away from this book. And also sometimes the books have recommended reads of other concepts or other books or other resources that I would like to pen down and check out at a different point in time. So I really like having that there. I find it completely useful. And then another one would be like, say, sometimes books have their powerful lists, and that is another thing that I wanted to take down. So yeah, if this worked for you, check it out, or let me know in the comment section down below what you personally use to track the lessons that you learn from your books. Because if you're anything like me, even though you annotate in your books, at some point in time you're gonna forget what you actually read, and then you have to like leaf through all of it, which takes time. So I think like a summarized version really helps me to go through the different lessons and to recap what it was all about. So the next thing that I love to track is actually to do with my finances, and this is pretty much a finance channel where we talk about all things money and investing. So at the start of the year, I want to be able to track some parts of my finances better, and I've been testing out a lot of different things. And as you know, I use the bucket system, and I've made a video on using an application to track my expenses before. I'll link it up above. I use Expense Keep as an app, And the thing with tracking is you can get into the dirty details, and it's all about the subcategories for me. So the subcategories that I would like to be tracking, sorry, I should actually talk about the main categories first. So the main categories are my income, my expenses, and my investments. So just in my income alone, what I really found that I wanted to track were the bank interest that I get, because I always talk about high interest savings accounts and deals like that, and people don't tend to look at how much bank interest rates are going to give you, whether it's an FD, whether it's a savings account. And I really do believe it does make a difference, so I like to track that number. So I am focusing on that. I also have another subcategory of dividends, stock dividends, and I want to break it down a bit better in terms of how much I'm getting in stock dividends and how much I am earning from capital appreciation or capital gains in a year. So that is quite a nifty thing to track over time, because then we are able to see which part of our investments is actually earning us money. So those are the subcategories that I really want to track better, and I guess like even in my investments as well, I can do a better job of reorganizing the Google Sheet that I use, and to really, I guess like the goal is to really be able to see over time how I have progressed and how how it's going. So I want to really have that in a good place, which is aesthetic to look at as well. So for me personally, I like to use Google Sheets because you can access it from your different devices and it's always available online for you. And of course you can like secure it with proper means. And what I am also using is this particular Google Sheet that I bought from My Wealth Diary, and she calls it her dashboard. So I bought the latest one, and I really enjoy using it because of the aesthetics and how I can track in graphs and in nice visuals. And yeah, it just really enables me to work with the data. And like sometimes you miss out certain months, so I am really inculcating the habit of putting in these information in my tracker once a week instead of once a month, which means that I will probably be spending less time tracking, because sometimes it does take up a lot of time to input all of these items. So yeah, I think that's it for the tracking. What I have also done for myself to set myself up for success this year is to use a separate book to track my goals for each year, because what I found is that after say 3 years of intentionally setting goals and putting it into my journals or books, what I found is that I am not able to backtrack smoothly what were my goals set for the previous few years, because they're all scattered in different books and they're everywhere. So I just created this one book, and I will be documenting every single year my reflections in this specific book. So it's very easy for me to see how I have changed as a person over time, and whether the goals that I'm setting are similar, dissimilar, what is actually more meaningful to me as I grow as a person. So that is that part. And the next part that I think is super important is about our spaces, our environments that we choose to put ourselves into. And for me, most directly, this environment is my room, because I pretty much do everything in here. I work, I sleep, I create these videos here, and I edit the videos. And nowadays, I even hang out with my friends in my room because we're all talking digitally, right? So this is a very important sacred space, and I really do think that I have the propensity to get it very messy at times. And the moment it is messy, I feel like my internal state is also very stressed out, or it doesn't sit right with me. So yeah, that's something that I am very much putting in the forefront of my mind and keeping the space neat and to declutter, which reminds me that I haven't been posting videos about my secondhand or pre-loved clothes that I am selling to raise funds for the 1,000 baht challenge. And I've been thinking as well that I would like to start an Instagram page for the 1,000 baht challenge so that we can all motivate each other to partake in this journey. And a lot of my friends or subscribers or Instagram friends have told me that they have started on this journey, and some of them have even earned a lot more money than just 1,000 bucks already. So congratulations to you. I think that is super terrific, and it's really just more to come. So I will see you in the next one. Take good care. Bye!